The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Hey, what up YouTube fam, it's Dupree aka Darth Hater here with some fresh brand new Star Wars news for you. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out my last video because it greatly helps out the channel. So let's get into it. So George Lucas's biggest return to the public forum in recent years happened this weekend when he visited the south of France to receive an honorary Palme d'Or, or on Saturday, as he stayed to watch the Formula 1 and Monaco Grand Prix. But in a conversation on Friday, George Lucas dropped a bunch of pearls regarding the future of cinema, the Star Wars franchise, and pretty much everything that's going on in the entertainment industry. First, there's the question about representation in Star Wars and pointing the fingers at the fact the original trilogy is mostly white men. He went on to say, "They would say that it's all white men. Most of the people are aliens. The idea is you're supposed to accept people for what they are, whether they're big furry or whether they're green or whatever. That's the idea, is people are all equal. Who do you think the heroes are in these stories? What do you think Princess Leia was? She was the head of the rebellion. She was the one that's taking this young kid who doesn't know anything and this boisterous, I don't know everything guy who can't do anything and trying to say the rebellion with these clowns." As it had to happen, the conversation eventually included the Disney era Star Wars movies, which George Lucas has had his own thoughts on, though he rarely shares them publicly anymore. He went on to say, "I was the one who really knew what Star Wars was, who actually knew this world, because there's a lot to it. Nobody understood the Force when they started the other ones after I sold the company. A lot of ideas that were there, the originals sort of got lost, but that's the way it is. You give it up, you give it up. The new films have a lot of talent, great ideas, and production. I feel like they've come from my children, and sometimes it hurts a little when they grow up and get away from you." Certainly an interesting choice of words. He's not quick to criticize the sequels, but simply laments the fact that his ideas were abandoned along the way. But the comment about them feeling like they've come from his children is a bit puzzling. One would have thought that he means Dave Filoni and perhaps Jon Favreau to an extent, but neither one has made Star Wars feature film yet. Another more likely candidate is probably Kathleen Kennedy. Perhaps the best quote of this interview happened when said he and Steven Spielberg were building sandcastles in Hawaii, unbeknownst to the fact that Walter Cronkite, the biggest news anchor in the US back then, in a special report on how Star Wars was a massive phenomenon. He went on to say, "When it came out, people lined up around the block. I said to Alan Ladd Jr., who was president of the studio, look at all science fiction films do well in the first week. That's just the way it is. Let's not worry about lines around the block for the first week. They just like science fiction films." And then I went off to Hawaii to be on the beach. Steven Spielberg and I sat around making sandcastles and things. And then some of my friends from the United States called and said, "Turn on Walter Cronkite tonight. Turn on the news." I turned it on and he did a whole thing about what a phenomenon it was. And that's when I finally realized that it was a phenomenon. But what's really especially unique about these conversations is that we get to hear the maker's actual thoughts on some of the hottest topics in the entertainment these days. After recently turned 80, he has nothing more to prove, and if he had ever anyone to answer to, he no longer does. So he can just speak his mind freely, and that's what he did. On topics like streaming, he said, "I just said, look, and I don't want to know what it's going to be. It's going to be a giant transition into business. I don't know much about it, and I sold the company and I retired basically. Artificial intelligence," he said, "we've been using it for 25 years. It's not AI, but we use all digital technology because we helped pioneer a lot of that. The future of Hollywood, big studios," he said, "big studios just want something that's like something they've already seen because they don't have the imagination to see something that there isn't there." And even Martin Scorsese's one-sided war against Marvel Studios, he said, "Look, cinema is the art of moving image. So the image moves and then it's cinema." George Lucas became what we all should aspire to be, someone who carved his own path, followed his own instinct, and achieved all of his own dreams. He now gets to enjoy the spoils, living a quiet life surrounded by the same vineyards he grew up in, and getting to spend his last days on Earth surrounded by his loved ones. Having conversations like this one with the man himself is a treasure.
Don't do that.
He has a unique mind full of original thoughts and ideas that we can all dream of. In his speech accepting the award, he was visibly emotional, but his age also showed. And that's just George being George. He doesn't care about appearances, he just wants to be with his loved ones. It's all very true, and it's interesting to hear all these golden nuggets that George has. At the end of the day, and it's, you know, you can see this in past interviews with him, it's kind of sad that Disney chose to go their own route and not use many of George's ideas. There's one quote right here where he said it's being made by his children's children. I kind of think a little bit of that he was talking about with Dave Filoni, because Dave Filoni is basically his, you know, next in line, his Padawan. A younger George himself, and then also Kathleen Kennedy, because Kathleen came up under George and Steven Spielberg producing or helping to produce like some of the biggest movies they ever made, like, you know, the Indiana Jones movies, the Jurassic Park movies. So to see her take over the company after being sold and George putting her in a position to where she is and then not using his knowledge, I can guess that's pretty upsetting to him. But I think he just doesn't want to be very vocal about it. He doesn't want to throw her under the bus where he's put the blame mostly with Disney. Nice to see these words, and the man just turned 80, so he's in that point in his life where he just wants to talk about, he just wants to be open and honest. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get some more golden nuggets like this from George in the future. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about George's views on Star Wars itself. There's also the rumor that he's possibly coming back to do a TV series or be a part of a TV series pretty soon. So there's that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, if you guys like this video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell to get notifications for all my latest videos. That would be great. Anyway, guys, take care. See you in the next one. May the force be with you. Bye.